I think when it comes to affirmative action, we have one of the best constitutions in the world.
Yeah.
But I think that we made a mistake in not having term limits for parliament, especially for affirmative action roles. We've seen people who stay in affirmative action places for 30 years. That means that is 6 terms that you're denying a younger person from accessing that seat.
Yes.
This is the Policy Digest, a Center for Policy Analysis podcast that explores how African societies are governed and how people and their leaders are shaping the future of their communities. Through candid conversations and insightful analysis, we aim to provide a deeper understanding of the political, economic, and social landscape of Africa. So sit back, relax, and get ready to explore the diverse and dynamic world of African governance.
Welcome to the Policy Digest, where we delve deep into issues, social, political, and economic issues impacting our society today. I am your host, Faith, and today we will be exploring the topic of public interest litigation. Joining me today is a distinguished guest who has served on numerous high-level boards. She currently serves as the Executive Director of the Fidelis Leadership Institute and is a former president of the Uganda Law Society. She's widely recognized for her advocacy of ethical leadership, inclusive governance, and she has spoken across the world, leading peace missions in places like Zimbabwe, and earned awards including New Vision's 40 Under 40, that was in 2018 and 2020, and the French-German Elysis Peace and Reconciliation Award in 2021 for her efforts towards fighting the rule of law in Uganda. She is none other than Miss Pheona Wall. Welcome, Fiona.
Thank you. Thank you, Faith.
Yes. I'm so glad to have you here today.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
Yes.
So please tell us, what's one thing about your story or journey in the legal sector that helps listeners understand your perspective?
I think one thing about my story is that it's a very, very twisted path. It's a broken road. And that broken road is full of career diversions into PR, into social work, into economics. And the core, the core point of focus of my career has been people, the muntu wa wansi.
Yeah.
So I feel that I come to every job, every opportunity, every assignment with a perspective of the least of my brothers. Because that's the litmus test for the success of any career. The smallest person in the community, are they feeling you? Do they see you? Do they feel what you're going for? Yeah, I think that would describe it. But it's a very, very broken path of so many interesting adventures. Yes. Growing up, I felt there were mistakes, but there's a song that says, "God bless this broken road that sent me straight to you." So I feel like this broken road was leading me straight here.
Yeah, I love that because I personally do not believe in coincidences.
Yes.
So whenever I feel like something's a mistake, I have to fight my way out of that mentality.
Yeah.
So I also love the fact that you cited "God bless the broken road." Yes. So given your years-long worth of legal practice and just being in this space, I'd like to ask, if you were in the room when the Constitution was being developed.
Oh, wow.
What is one thing that you would change about it? Would you change something about the Constitution? Would you add, retract? Yes, please.
Yes, definitely. I'll change 3 things. I think when it comes to affirmative action, we have one of the best constitutions in the world.
Yeah.
But I think that we made a mistake in not having term limits for parliament, especially for affirmative action roles. We've seen people who stay in affirmative action places for 30 years. That means that is 6 terms that you're denying a younger person from accessing that seat.
Yes.
So I think that is something I would have looked at, along with instead of giving 30% to parliament, 30% to local government, insisting on 50% representation.
Yes.
Because if you do 50, and not 50% saying that 50% should be women, but 50% represent, meaning that nominees, the recruitments for all public service should have that lens, that gender lens. Because we had some powerful women in that room. Yes, but they did a fantastic job given their circumstances. Now, the second thing that I would change was what I think was a mistake that has sort of crippled the Judicial Service Commission, one of the organizations that I'm running for. I think I would have had the Chief Justice be part of the Judicial Service Commission. Because you have people that are part of a Judicial Service Commission that are making decisions, and there's nobody, and their supervisor is not there.
Yes.
I think that's a travesty, and we've paid dearly for it. And along with that, I would also make the Judicial Service Commission a full-time organization, a full-time MDA. Reason being, the dispensation of justice is extremely important. The regulation of the judiciary should be a full-time job. It's a whole arm of government. And because it is a part-time job and there's a lot of business that slips through, they also have backlog. Along that, sorry, I have many things.
No, it's okay.
Along that, I think that that the third thing that I would touch would be emphasizing what separation of powers means. Emphasizing that if you belong to one arm of government, you should stick to one arm of government. I don't know how they could have emphasized it more, but I would have had them do that.
Yes. I think those are really good ones.
But I think that we have a fantastic constitution. I think that our aspirations as a people have been very well laid out. But I also think that we have over the years watered down the constitution. And that I regret. I hope that as lawyers we can get together and bring back the true meaning, the true spirit of that constitution and work for it to get better, not to get diluted.
Yes. I agree with you, especially on the point of the separation of powers. I think it poses a huge issue when it comes to execution.
No, a democracy as envisioned. And, I keep getting uppity people telling me that, sorry for judging them, but they're like, oh, there's no pure democracy in the world and everything. But at the time that this constitution was being made, everybody was aspiring for the kind of democracy that Justice Kanyehamba foresees in constitutionalism in Uganda, that textbook, and which is a democracy, that it is for the people, by the people. It means that it exists, the government exists at the will of the people, at the pleasure of the people. Now, if that is the case, then we need to have representation. We need to have separation of powers. And as Ugandans and as Africans in 1995, we had a chance to actually be as idealistic as we could be. But there are certain decisions that were made through a cynical lens. And I think we're paying for it.
That's powerful. So while we're still on the Constitution, in this episode, we'll be diving into Uganda's rich story of public interest litigation through the lens of the new Public Interest Litigation in Uganda, a comprehensive case compendium, 1995 to 2025. This collection is compiled by the Fidelis Leadership Institute and published by Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, Uganda. This compendium doesn't just catalogue cases, but captures 3 decades of courage, constitution, constitutionalism and citizen-led justice.
Yes.
So we unpack Article 50, which open doors for ordinary people, as you'd mentioned earlier, ordinary people and organizations to challenge human rights violations, and how Article 137 empowered anyone, and I do mean anyone,
Anybody.
to question laws or government
Anybody
actions.
or institution.
Or institutions,
Yes.
yes, to question government actions that contradict the Constitution. Yes, so what truly counts as we dive into this compendium, we are going to ask ourselves the question, what truly counts as public interest? Where is the line between judicial oversight and political overreach? And how do we preserve the delicate balance that keeps courts neutral, legitimate, and trusted? So for everything, there's a genesis.
Yes.
Yes, there's a genesis, and I'm curious to know what the genesis of this compendium was. What inspired you to develop a comprehensive compendium on public interest litigation?
Interesting. So I did not always want to do law, and everybody kept saying I should be a lawyer from when I was a child. Why? Because I was always wildly advocating for one thing or the other.
Yeah.
But the one thing I loved was Proverbs 31 verse 9, which says, speak up for those that cannot speak for themselves and judge justly, right?
Yes, yes.
I always felt like my calling was in that particular scripture. And maybe I was a little naughty because every woman in my life was leading me to Proverbs 31. And I just thought that Proverbs 31 woman is overworked and underappreciated, and I don't want to be her. But Proverbs 31 has a particularly special scripture between verse 1 and verse 9. King Lemuel, his mother is telling him, it is not for kings to drink alcohol. And for me, alcohol means the comfort zone, means indulging. It's not for kings to indulge, to drink alcohol and forget the cause of the poor. And she says, let alcohol be for those that are perishing, for those that don't have hope. For me, that spoke to whom much has been given, much more is expected. If you have been educated and you have the words and you have, as lawyers and public relations people, we say that words are our stock in trade. So you've been armed, In fact, in the armor of God, sorry, I'm not preaching, but
No, it's good.
The sword, the only offensive weapon is the word. And that's how powerful the word is. We see it in creation, being the tool of creation. So if the word is that powerful and you've been armed and then you've been given a courtroom and you've been given a license to stand for people, then how are you equipping? So in 2021, when I was president of the Law Society, two things stood out. We had a huge legal aid project that was covering about 23 towns. We were doing a lot of fantastic work. We had about 2,800 lawyers providing free legal services in one way or another. But it was one lawyer to 19,000 people, if you did the math. Yeah. And HIL, the Hague Institute for Innovations in Law, had given some statistics and said that only 5% of Ugandans could access courts. At that time, we had 8 trillion in arrears. Now I'm told it's about 22 trillion in arrears for court backlog. Now, what this says to me is that something is not working. And growing up in the legal fraternity in law school, I saw cases like Teen, Teen versus the Attorney General that stopped public smoking, that spoke to the environment, the climate action plan that we have right now.
Yes.
I saw the case of FIDA, versus Uganda that spoke to the issues around divorce and the requirements and the inequalities before the courts of law for men and women when it came to dissolution of marriages. So I thought, PEEL is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
And the Constitution gives this honors to any Ugandan. Yeah. I do not like the case that we had recently that set a precedent that we should use a constitutional petition to go before, to do PEEL. I think that needs to be reviewed. And I hope that SEPA and other organizations can actually go to court and undo that dangerous precedent. There's another dangerous precedent which talks to costs being nominal for public interest litigation. I think it's disrespectful. I think the spirit of PEEL is to be corrective. And sometimes corrective action requires some punitive issues, but also people need to be compensated. And sometimes if you do not put government in a corner where they need to actually put their money where policy measures should be, then maybe they won't listen.
Yeah.
So those two are very dangerous precedents that need to be undone. But that being the point, when we started the Fidelis Leadership Institute, I like telling stories. I hope you won't regret it.
No. I like stories. Yes.
We started this idea in 2019 because and when I say we, I mean I and a lot of young people that were working together. We believed that Africa has everything it takes to succeed, but we are not where the BRICS and the Tigers are because we have not had leaders and a society that says what they mean and means what they say. And actually does it. So ethics, we believed that ethics is a question that's lacking in our African equation for success. So we thought, how do we do this? We are young. The only thing you have when you're young is time and idealism, right? That comes from innocence. Yes. So I've always surrounded myself with very young people and I've learned so much from them. But the one thing I love about them is that they believe. So we had this thing, and for since 2016, I had been serving in the Law Society, and my campaign theme was always, we need to make an ethical organization. We need to be ethical lawyers. If we're ethical lawyers and we stand up and we do what Proverbs 31 verse 9 requires, then, and Martin Luther King said, tolerance of any injustice anywhere will create a threat to justice everywhere. So when you come with those two things in mind, you realize that the courts are not working. The systems are not working. The judiciary was underworked and overworked, and under-facilitated. The DPP had no people. So we have 33. In 2021, we had 33,000 people on remand. Yeah. Of these, about 22,000 had been on remand beyond the mandatory bail period, of course, and even beyond their sentences would have been their maximum sentences. So what did this mean? Something's not working. Something's got to give. And I always tell people that Barack Obama was not mad when he said you need to be the change you want to see.
Yeah.
We're young. We believe. Yeah. So as a young team, we decided that we're going to form the Fidelis Leadership Institute to create a critical mass of ethical leaders for Africa, for Africa's transformation. And we said, let's dissect this problem.
Yeah.
The first thing is Africa's story has not been told by Africans.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
And for as long as the hunter has a pen, that story will always have the lion losing.
Yes. I think until the lion learns how to write, the hunter will always know the story from the hunter's point of view.
No, the hunter, as in the hunter will always win that.
Argument.
The argument. So Africa's stories, Africa's art, Africa's intellectual property, these things have been taken away and appropriated elsewhere.
Yeah.
So the first thing we need to do is document African stories. And we believe in the power of the word and the power of the pen.
Yeah.
And because of that, we decided that we are going to document Africa's stories. The second thing is data, research. Almost every sort of source of data on Africa is not African. We need to come up with our own data to lead and guide our policy makers. We make a lot of policy that is imported, that is transfixed upon us, The IMF will come and say, oh, Minister, this and this and this, we have heard that this and this is happening, you should privatize.
Yeah.
And we'll say, oh, yes, you know?
You're right.
Yeah, then someone will wake up and say, oh, this ministry is messing up in this way, that MDA is messing up, maybe we should do this. Then you're like, oh yes, let's rationalize. But what's the data saying?
Yeah.
Who did the research? Who owns the data? Who analyzed it? We have a lot of educated people in our land, in Africa, overeducated.
Yeah.
But the applicability of that education, yeah? So we said we're going to do data-based research and inform policy advocacy, again for justice.
Yes.
And the things that speak to ethics. So as the Fidelis Leadership Institute, we stand for anything that will create a critical mass of ethical leaders who are faithful to their mandate.
Yeah.
So we are all about leaders finding their purpose, establishing their mandate wherever they are.
Yeah.
We are all about leaders being available, availing themselves to service beyond self, to service beyond targets, to service beyond what is expected of you.
Yeah.
We also are about leaders that are teachable. We need an Africa that learns from the past, that documents, but that also doesn't wait to learn, to make the same mistakes of the West.
Yeah.
If they're documented, learn from them, because experience is a very expensive teacher. The school fees are very high.
Yeah.
So what am I saying? We decided that there are 5 areas of the law that we want to be involved in. The first of them is public interest litigation.
Yeah.
And we said from public interest litigation, what's lacking? We're not lacking in precedents. We're not lacking in lawyers to do this. We're not lacking in... What we are lacking is Article 52
Yes.
being implemented. It says anybody. Have we equipped anybody?
Yeah.
Have we equipped everybody? Do they know? So we said no. What we need to do is, if I was an individual, a civilian, and I walked into a court of law because a swamp is being taken over, what do I need?
Yeah.
I need someone to sit me down and say, there is a precedent here you can use to persuade the judge. I need someone to say, there's 3 principles of law you can apply. I need someone to show me that this has happened in Kenya, this has happened in Tanzania, so it can happen in Uganda. I need someone to show me how to use data, research, my arguments, how to use words like public interest. So we need to define, what does public interest mean?
Yeah.
Where does individual interest end? Yeah. So those questions, we said the only way we can do this is create a tutorial of sorts.
Yeah.
So we looked at the many cases that have been decided. We picked out 24 that we thought made very serious inroads into developing our constitutional journey. And we said on the 30th birthday of our constitution, on the eve of that birthday, on the 7th of October 2025, we shall launch this compendium. And we want to thank the Conrad Adena Shiftang. They said, yes, we shall put our backs behind you and publish this compendium. And I'm very happy that our commitment is going deeper, because on the launch we had somebody who has headed that court for 10 years and who himself was a DPP for 10 years, I think, before that. The retired Deputy Chief Justice, Butera, who gave a keynote and literally broke down every case. And I'm happy to say that in the second edition, we're going to put that detailed speech. Yeah. It will. It's like a class. It's like a master class on public interest litigation in Uganda. So that was it. Then we had people that had practiced, that had participated in some of the cases, lawyer from a lawyer's perspective, an academic's perspective, a civilian's perspective, and they came and they spoke to the issues and they spoke to impact. Yeah.
Yes.
And this is all documented. Yeah. And as we speak, we are now translating that into 4 local languages, the 4 major regional languages in Uganda, because we want every Ugandan to access this. As we speak, this public interest litigation compendium is available on every website of our partners. Even SEPA is welcome to host it. Yes. I think FIDE has said they will host it. Fidelis Leadership Institute is hosting it on its website. We also of course, CAS,
Yes.
Konradad Shiftung. We're happy to say that the judiciary is also, I think, going to host it. So what we want is every Ugandan to access it and equip themselves. And then the question will be, what did you do with what you had?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I like, yeah.
So it's a
That's
long
good
story,
one.
but
Yes.
that's where we are.
No, it's good. I feel like
Yes.
stories are the best way to bring a point across. A lot of the time I know someone outside of civil society who complained to me once and said that the reason why it's so hard to follow some of these things, whether in civil society or even in the legal space, is because of the terminology that we bring about.
Exactly.
So I found that storytelling is a very powerful tool.
It's relatable.
It's relatable.
And it's the way we communicate as Africans.
Yes. Yeah, I think we're going to take a short break for now, and then we'll come back and touch on the points that you spoke about.
You are listening to the Policy Digest, a Center for Policy Analysis podcast that explores how African societies are governed and how people and their leaders are shaping the future of their communities.
I like the fact that you mentioned that it's being translated into 4 different languages to give better access to it, because it really goes to show your stance on inclusivity, which is also a big issue that we have, especially when it comes to like the different laws. A lot of people trying to explain it, to different people. It's very tough.
I think it's the first compendium that has... It will be probably the first time cases are being translated.
Yes.
In Uganda.
Yes.
I don't know. Yes.
Ah, nice. So you mentioned about 24 cases that were compiled, and I know that couldn't have been easy bringing it together.
No, it was not easy.
Yes. So what were some of the challenges that you faced in bringing them together?
So first of all, we had to pick, I think we picked from 6 themes. And if you look at all the public interest litigation cases that have been done, there are over 12 themes. So we had to pick 6. And even from the 6, we had to pick out, should I say, the most successful?
Okay.
And our measure of success came from, it's not enough to win a case. We also need to look at implementation.
Yes.
And a good example would be the Kawaziguruka case, because we were thinking, this is very successful because it had been decided and changes were being made, prisoners were being transferred. That was before Parliament made that move, you know?
Yes.
So maybe if it had happened after Parliament made that move, it wouldn't have made it into that compendium, because then we wouldn't know whether it was actually successful. We'd have to measure what success looks like. So the challenge was, what does success look like?
Yeah.
2, the other challenge was the impact to the public. Was it futuristic, or did it take us ways back? There is a particular case recently that was by, I think, Chapter 4 and some other people about the issue of a no-fault divorce. They wanted to create an element of a no-fault divorce. Yes?
Okay.
And the reason they're doing this is because when you start trying to prove to the court that there was all these ingredients, sometimes people have forged, sometimes people end up fighting in an ugly way and put on record things that their children shouldn't read. But it's also very acrimonious and has led to a lot of things going wrong in those people's lives. Because even processes like divorce should still work in the best interests of the community and of the public and of the parties.
Yes.
Now, this decision was saying this is against our culture.
Yeah.
That making divorce easy or easily accessible is against our culture, our religion, etc.
Yes.
And you can see why the court decided that way. But when you look at our practical reality right now, is it answering public interest? So these were some of the challenges that we went through. We also had a lot of challenges anticipating lawyers' opinions of this compendium. We knew that everybody has as many lawyers as they're there, they have opinions on which case should go into the first edition.
Yes.
Yeah, so we knew that,
Yeah.
and the standard was really high. But I think I'm proud of the work that we did. We had a lot of young people on this job.
Yeah.
We spoke to a lot of people. They gave us commentaries. We have commentaries from other jurisdictions, like His Excellency, the German ambassador, gave us a very interesting perspective from Germany, because he himself is a lawyer. And he said, he raised the point that this thing that we have public interest litigation doesn't exist in many of their laws in Europe. So for him, this is a new concept, and it's such a privilege given by the Constitution. So I think his question was, do we know what we've got? Yeah. So that was a fresh perspective. There's a perspective from the head of the Austrian Development Agency and the head of the Austrian Embassy in Uganda. And when you look at her perspective, she's speaking to the importance of what this does to the Constitution. It breathes life, yeah? The country director for Konrad Adenauer Stiftung has made a wonderful commentary that we're waiting for in the second edition. And it brings to light why our development partners behind such an effort. The frustration of trying to see how effective the courts can be. And now trying to increase civic participation in access to justice. That question here is access to justice.
Access, yes.
So those were some of the difficulties but we also got a lot of encouragement, a lot of support. At the launch, we got a lot of good feedback that is guiding.
Yes.
Because the next editions are going to be in much simpler language. We thought we had simplified the language, but we were told it could get simpler.
Yeah.
Yes. And now we have even more partners on board to help us with the simplification.
Yes. I like the emphasis on the simplification, because I feel like that's one of the key barriers to access of justice.
Yes.
And I think to understand the real impact of PIL, we need to look beyond individual cases as they have been put, and examine how it has influenced the broader DNA of governance in Uganda.
Yes.
So my question to you would be, how has PIL reshaped Uganda's constitutional culture and the general democratic governance?
I think that it has, I think that the people that have brought these cases have done very well.
Yes.
Secondly, I would applaud Parliament for the times that as a legislator they have responded to the jurisprudence, and with their guidance they've come up with this, There was, I'll give you an interesting example.
Yeah.
We had in 2016 the presidential petition. There was an attempt by Parliament, I think, to increase their own term to 7 years. And I think the court quashed that. And when that happened, there was a bit of, should I say, there's a bit of a hit back in form of not paying attention or passing the Judiciary Administration Bill, which was working towards making the judiciary fiscally independent. So that the legislature was kind of hitting back.
Yeah.
And as the Law Society, we went to court to compel Parliament to look at this law and pass it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, those are examples of how the fact that you are telling government you need to do this.
Yeah.
Seha did a fantastic case on health, on maternal health, and the obligations of government.
Yeah.
You cannot use budgetary cuts and etc. as an excuse for young mothers not to give birth safely. There's no government in the world that should have that excuse.
Yeah.
They should prioritize some things like this. That was a great case, and I think it has led to a lot of improvements Of course, we're still behind, but I think there's a lot that has improved greatly.
Yes.
The circumstances surrounding the environment, everything to do with climate action has come from that teen case that I've told you about.
Yeah.
Right now, we have, I think, about 3 legislations that have come from that case. The feeder case led to amendments, I think, in the Penal Code, in the divorce and marriage, the acts to do with marriages and dissolution of marriages, and the Succession Act. And right now, I think our succession laws are something that we can take home proudly because of that decision.
Yes.
So I believe that not only has public interest litigation breathed life into the Constitution, it has also led to an intentional growth of not only the jurisprudence, but also the legislative drafting, the increasing the level of obligation of state actors. And it has also, I think, brought attention to the psychosocial issues in society that affect our development, that affect our justice issues.
Yeah. I think a lot of what when you're talking about.
So speaking for those that can't speak for themselves has happened.
Yes.
But I think with these precedents, it has also armed the superheroes that would want to stand up.
Yeah. When you're talking about the different cases, I kept hearing there is hope. It's easy to get lost in a lot of what's happening right now and drown in it, forgetting that there's been success in some areas. Of course,
the Susan Chigula case.
Yes,
I will tell you that as a young lawyer, I used to visit people on death row, and you have been put on death row. You don't know when you're going to die, and it's been 10 years you've been on death row.
Yeah.
Your relatives, everybody is on tension. You cannot plan. You cannot call your children. You cannot plan for next week because you do not know when they're going to, Have you watched the movie The Green Mile? The Green Mile? No, I haven't. Oh, you should. Maybe you're too young, but you should. It's a fantastic movie that speaks to the mental torture of somebody that is on death row. The Green Mile was that distance between the cell and the electric chair. And these guys, you'd never know. They don't tell you when it's going to happen. Yeah. They just come and tell you, okay, now this is your last meal. What would you like? So this is the psychological torture that these people are going through in a country that has a reputation for not carrying out death sentences, at least in the last 40 years. Yes. So it looked like we had a hypocritical government or state that didn't want to kill people but didn't want to let them go. There was that lacuna. Yes. And the Susan Chigula case, much as, Susan Chigula had been convicted. Yes, there were victims. Yes. But those, I think she was with 145 others or something. This decision said if somebody is on death row for more than 3 years, it commutes automatically to life. Because And that cleared a lot of things. Yeah. And I think those people, a lot of their cases were commuted to life, and some of them were pardoned. And then also there was the definition of what is life, you know? Yeah. And because you see, if someone has life imprisonment, they can plan, they can get educated, they can review themselves. There are certain things I think we should also borrow from the American system, like being up for probation, being up to be released into the society for good behavior earlier, because if you get that, then maybe you have more people being rehabilitated in a prison system that is at 400% as we speak capacity. Yeah. So the Susan Chigula case was also monumental in that way. So this is real stuff, impactful stuff that is happening when people go to court and enforce Article 139 and 52, subsection 2. Yes.
So it's evident that since 1995, courts haven't stayed the same.
No, they have
at all. As you've been citing their attitudes and different interpretations have changed.
There's been a lot of judicial activism. If you
Yes.
look at the dissenting judgments of some of the unsuccessful public interest litigation cases, some of those have created such amazing conversation and have inspired a lot of people, especially in academia, to write impactful articles and pieces that have led to the development of certain things like iPod.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that iPod came out of a lot of the cases that spoke to electoral democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I think that we applaud the judiciary for their courage. We applaud them for being brave, but also, you know, it takes courage to decide that you're going to be the first to do anything. So sometimes the law is clear, and they bring something to your interpretation, but there's a lot of factors that I'm sure the bench has to consider.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some responsible jurisprudence. For instance, the Kabaziguruka case did not say this nullifies everything the court martial has done because of the amount of damage that could have done.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that for me is responsible jurisprudence. It takes courage. Yes. Although we've been told that, Kenya has maybe more courageous judges. But I keep saying that, again, it comes down to how judges are recruited, how empowered the Judicial Service Commission is. And it also reminds us that everybody has something to contribute.
Yeah.
So you might be judging the bench when maybe it's the people that recruit the bench that have to be looked at.
Yeah.
Or the source of the bench, which is the bar. Or you understand what I'm saying? So the issue of public interest litigation brings out all the issues of the collective responsibility, the responsibility of local authorities, the responsibility of individuals that stand by and watch things. We saw people drowning, their businesses dying because someone made a public construction mess. Yeah?
Yeah.
In Nachivubo. What does that mean? When that public servant was making that decision to give a permit or a license or whatever, were they thinking about the public good? And I hope that when we're done with this, I'm hoping it will take a period of about 2 years to really disseminate this thing to every corner of Uganda. But when we're done with this, I hope that Ugandans can, even public servants, can look deep in themselves and figure out what's my mandate, what's my calling, how can I make a difference?
Yeah.
Because you do, with your omissions, with your commissions.
Yeah. And even with the gains Peel has made, there's still much more to go.
There is. And sometimes much more to undo.
Yes, much more to undo. So from your view, what do you consider the most significant challenges facing Peel, but also litigation in Uganda?
So sometimes I think that the lens within which the bench views Peel matters.
Yeah.
There is an increased intolerance to public interest litigation. And that increased intolerance comes from the thought that public interest litigation is against the state. It doesn't have to be. Even the state.
Yeah.
It says anybody, any institution or any person can come. Even the state can go to a court of law and seek something in the public interest. Even the state can. So we need to depoliticize public interest litigation where it has been misunderstood. Then we need to also approach it from a perspective of, yes, the court has done its job. Now what next? The fourth estate. Where do they come in here? We need to see the fourth estate get this case that has been decided, break it down, go and do research, go to the parliament and ask, what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
We need these things, investigative journalism, we need sometimes the cases, public interest litigation cases, especially the really, really sensitive ones, leave more questions than answers. And I feel that academia and the law society and a lot of the educated people out there have left a lot of these questions unanswered. And yet, when a ruling leaves questions, I think it behooves the elites to try and find answers.
Yes.
The civil society, especially like around public health, you know. These are spaces where we need to see more innovation.
Yeah.
We need to see more people relating with the public interest cases, seeing the gaps that are left and seeing how to improve these through policy advocacy and innovation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beyond documenting the cases, this compendium is meant to be a practical tool, as you've been telling us about. So I was wondering, how do you hope that this compendium will serve legal practitioners, policymakers, and anyone really that wants to?
I'll start with the Muntu wa wansi.
Okay.
It will educate, equip, and guide them.
Yes.
For the academia and the legal fraternity, it is up to them now to look at these cases and see how can we use PIL to improve, protect the gains, literally.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I've seen that, some of these decisions are in the Court of Appeal, some are in the Supreme Court. There are certain precedents that are dangerous that we need to end. If someone has successfully won a public interest litigation case, we should not just put in an appeal notice and leave it in abeyance. So we need to end some of those habits, and I hope that the academia and the legal fraternity will look into those things. It's also an opportunity for these professionals to identify the negative effects of some of the PIL cases and see how we can reel that back, and do some of those precedents. The other thing is also we need to see more writing. We need to see more research. When I was president of the Uganda Law Society, when I became president, half of our council was female. And the BBC called me and said, we hear that women have taken over the Law Society. And it was a bit insulting because it was not true.
Yeah.
It was just half. We just reached 50-50 for the first time, and the world was amok with worry.
Uproar.
Yeah. And yet in the law, we asked our council, we asked the IBA to do research with us, and we did research in the gender dynamics of the Uganda Law Society. That report is still on the website. And it said so many damning things. One of the things it said was, yes, when we start out for school, in law school, we're 50-50. In fact, some cases 70-50, 70 being women.
Yes.
When we go into private practice, at that point, we had over 1,500 law firms, and about only 100 of them had women in the leadership. Not even women-led, but women in the leadership. Only 100. What percentage is that?
Yeah.
And then when we got to, we could see that a lot of them went into government and they were so intimidated out of private practice. So the numbers were damning.
Yeah.
Now, but that research helped us. It helped us do certain intentional things, strengthening the female lawyers platforms, creating advocacy platforms for women lawyers, women practitioners, working on sexual harassment. Recently, I went back to so many. There's a place called Kisozi Complex that has so many law firms.
Yes.
The last time I was there looking for votes in 2020, there's only 2 law firms there that were led by women. When I went there, I found about 7.
Yeah.
Led by women. Then the others had female partners. So, and these are almost 30 law firms in that place. That's just a small, for me, impact.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think if they look at this PIL, there's a lot of opportunity to learn, to work harder.
Yeah.
The Budonia and Sega Chalimabaga. So I'm hoping that this will encourage even other civil education to pick cases and create Compedia and create tools that people can use, because we cannot do this alone. The judiciary will not solve Uganda's justice problems. Each of us have to be involved.
Yes. So also earlier you mentioned that you like to surround yourself with like younger people because there's a lot of hope among us.
Yes.
And yes, I've been As the former president of ULS, you are well conversant with challenges being faced in the legal fraternity. There have been concerns raised about the quality of legal training, where some individuals think the level has dropped.
Yes.
So do you think the quality of legal training in Uganda has dropped, and why? And what do you think could be done to improve the status of it?
So when I was a young student in secondary school, the government of Uganda decided that any subject, any principal passes would get you law, into law. I was unfortunate enough to lecture law for 5 years. Fortunate and unfortunate. Yeah. I'll explain why. Okay. For 5 years at one of the universities in town. And I realized that, someone who has been doing numbers, was doing physics, chemistry, mathematics, and wanted to be an architect, and then didn't get that and ended up doing law. They've never read history. They don't understand how to write an essay. They don't understand how to argue with words because their tools are numbers. It's very different. Yeah. And then I believed that when they made that decision, and they did, when they made that decision, they made law 4 years. Yeah. So that they could add some core subjects to the training. But unfortunately, those core subjects are not doing what we need to prepare lawyers. Law is a very serious course. In almost all other jurisdictions, it's a second degree. Yes. Because it needs context to be applied well. It does. Now, when you get a fresh student and they were on this journey and law becomes, because a lot of universities are offering law as a private. Yes. So sometimes it's the most accessible. So you get someone who's, how, I'm sorry to say this, people say it's people who fail to get certain courses that become teachers. That's why we have a lot of frustrated teachers. Yeah. I feel we have a lot of frustrated lawyers. Yes. There's a lot of young people that didn't set out to do law, but because it was what was available in private, they're doing it. That is one. Two, there are things like clinical legal education that should be taught from as early as first year, so that people understand that there is a calling here, that law is a calling, that it's not because you want to drive a Mercedes. Yeah. So the issue of purpose, the training, the pedagogy has to include purpose. It has to be purpose-driven. The third thing is tutorship, pupillage. In jurisdictions like Ghana, they have compulsory pupillage. This pupillage is, you do 2 years of pupillage, like an internship for medical students. Maybe that would help. In other jurisdictions like the US, you just do the bar course, you do the test. Now we are having it taught. Then we have high failure rates. Then we also have a bottleneck. When we're doing geography, we used to have, they used to talk about the Tennessee Valley bottlenecks. Yeah. Anyway, the biggest bottleneck is that we have almost 15,000 kids, lawyers coming out of all the universities. And Law Society, LDC has a capacity of only 1,500. Yeah. And the failure rate shows you only about 600 will pass. So are you seeing how enormous this problem is? Yes. So the education needs to be more purpose-driven. Yeah. We need to learn from other jurisdictions. Students, I believe, need to spend less time in school and do more practical work. Yes. More practical legal aid work. If all these 15,000 students were made to do legal aid for at least 1 year. Yeah. Do you know how transformational that would be? Even the Judicial Service Commission likes to recruit people that have done legal aid because they have the right attitude, the right perspective. Now, the last thing I will say is the issue of ethics. I think that first of all, the regulation of the Law Society is done by a part-time organization. The Law Council is part-time. It's led by a very busy judge. So we have backlog on disciplinary matters. We have backlog on enrollments. We have backlog on everything. Now, if the regulator is overworked, they can't even create policy. They can't enforce. They can't, they're overworked, understaffed. under-resourced.
Yes.
So regulation is failing almost of lawyers. So ethics is a big question that's eating at the cancer of legal training. We have very bad examples of lawyers that are unethical but have succeeded and gone through the ranks because disciplinary cases just die or they're in backlog.
Yeah, in backlog.
So these systems, the regulator, the pedagogy, the content, they need to be re-examined. And I don't think we need to look far.
Yeah.
We should just benchmark with jurisdictions where it works. Yes.
Yeah. I know there's also been like a proposal to reintroduce the pre-entry exams to
They have
LDC.
actually reintroduced
They've
them.
reintroduced
Yes.
them.
And we were against them in the first place. Because you see, this pre-entry, anybody can read for them and pass them.
Yeah.
I think the bar should not be taught, in my opinion. I think the bar course should be a test that you read for. You know, like the way you do SCCA or ICSA or these professional courses.
Yeah.
I think people should be allowed, if you're bright enough to read for the course and pass it, just sit for the bar.
Yeah.
It makes it less expensive. It makes it more inclusive. We have a lot of brilliant lawyers who've not done the bar because of the numbers, the funding, everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then finally, I know a lot of people might see this and then wonder, where can I get this? Where can I get my hands on this document?
Oh, yes. So this compendium
Yes.
is on the website, Fidelis Leadership Institute.
Yeah.
We'll share this barcode so
Okay.
that you can share it.
Sure.
And anybody who's watching can. So it's freely accessible online. We have a few physical copies around libraries, but
Okay.
it's going to be fully accessible online on Konrad Adenauer Stiftung website as well.
Yes.
And on partner websites. I'm hoping SEPA can also host it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I know it has brought to light a lot of things, especially the people that have seen it going around, the Pale Compendium. So any parting shots? Anything else to the audience?
First of all,
to
thank
left
you
with?
so much
Yes.
for having me. Thank you for giving us an opportunity. I think that as Fidelis Leadership Institute, we believe in collaboration. Someone said if you want to go fast, you can go alone. But if you want to go far, you need each other.
Yes.
Go together. So I thank SEPA for this, and I'm looking forward to further partnerships. The one thing I want to say to everybody out there is let's be the change we want to see. It starts with you. It starts with me. Government is never going to save us because government is you and I.
Yes.
So in whatever way we can contribute a drop to that ocean of change that is needed, let's do it. And I keep telling people, don't wait for resources. Don't wait for the fear to go away.
Yeah.
Don't wait to qualify. Start. And God will bring the right people along the journey to help you. That's how we did this with FLI, and CAS came in, and now SEPA is coming in. So let's do this, because if we have an Africa that is ethical, we will have an Africa that can use its mineral wealth properly, that can use its young people, occupy them, inspire them and equip them, that can use its old people and get all the institutional memory and learn from the past, and that can use its amazing resources to save the world. We're literally the last continent that has everything else that is just being reborn and rebirthed, while everywhere else things are dying. So
Yes. Thank you once again, Fiona. This was a lovely, lovely conversation. And yes, I look forward to reading more on the Pale Compendium. And thank you. Thank you. For more conversations like this, please follow us on YouTube as the Policy Digest, and Podbean, and anywhere else that you get your podcasts. And follow the Center for Policy Analysis pages on X, formerly known as Twitter, and LinkedIn, and all the other social media platforms. Thank you so much, and till next time.
Thank you for listening to the Policy Digest podcast, the Center for Policy Analysis podcast that is profiling African ideas and people that are shaping the future of their communities. Subscribe to all our platforms on YouTube and Podbean.